Howdy folks, this is Checkers and this is Citadel Forged with Fire. It is a, well, what I would call a survival crafting game in early access on Steam, and I thought I would give it a whirl as I was talking about this in a video earlier, I think last Sunday. So I've been playing it a bit. I've restarted the character. I deleted all my saves so we could see it from scratch. On this server, I'm playing single player. I've upped the experience modifier. I doubled it, I think, so that we could get through it a little bit more quickly. So when you start out, basically, you pick things up and you get experience. Actually, it doesn't look like the experience modifier kicked in at all. So there's that. Anyway, it is a game of survival and crafting in a world of magic, and kind of has a bit of a, a little bit of a Harry Potter vibe and a little bit of a Skyrim vibe, and I've enjoyed it so far. It's a very relaxing, kind of a almost zen sometimes when you get into the building and the better resource gathering later. Hey, we've leveled. Okay, so now that we've leveled, we can take a look at our character and we can upgrade things like our health, our mana, our damage, or our carrying capacity. And I'm going to up our carrying capacity a bit so that we can actually do some things. And we also get to pick something to create, and I'm going to start with a weapon. Your weapon also doubles as eventually, so here we have, let's take a look. We have items, we have utility things like health potions, mana potions, we can tame creatures, and we can fly on broomsticks, or there are flying potions. These are structures we can build: wood, stone, ornate, and other things we can build like alchemy tables, forge, workbench, tailoring bench, and then spells. So we have all spells, kind of an all spell thing that can be used on any weapon. This is the really important one we get at level 5, extract, which lets us pull more resources out of things than just, so we don't have to just pick them up off the ground, which is at the moment pretty much our only way to gain experience. And we can also craft spells to put on our weapons. So there are staff spells, there are wand spells, melee spells, and gauntlet spells. And you'll notice they do a percentage of damage. So staff spell is 100% to 140% damage. Wand is 60 to 100% damage, but supposed to be much more precise. Melee is 125 to 175 damage in percentage. And then the gauntlet is a channeled thing that does 80 to 100% damage per second. I think this time we might give staffs a try. So it will cost us 2 points to unlock. We have 3. We do that. Spell, now staff spell fireball. We will unlock that as well. And then we can come over to our crafting page and we can craft a staff of the forest. Actually, right now, look at us go. So we'll do that. And then we go to our spell book. Well, actually, we go to our inventory. We put our spell. Right click, just put it in our hands. And then come down here and put our fireball spell in our stave. Kaboom! All right. We are armed and moderately dangerous. It's going to be a little slower for me to pick up resources than it would be because there are no real key bindings at the moment. There are some, but there are not enough. It's not horrible in that the movement keys are only, they're not just WASD, they're also the arrow keys, which makes it at least feasible. It's not a deal breaker for me. But this is based on Unreal, so the hope is that they will get key bindings in. There are a few threads on Steam about it already, and the developers seem at least to be amenable. which is awesome. I always like to see people get the key bindings in earlier rather than later because it prevents all kinds of trouble, like the troubles we see with, say, Skyrim. Okay, here are ghost orchids. We can pick some of those up, and wood. We just pick up everything right now because that is what's giving us our experience. And I guess maybe the modifier is working. These blue glowy stones here are kind of the tutorials. Press I to open the inventory. Here you can equip weapons from your character or consume foods and potions. That was what we looked at earlier. And look at us go, leveling again. So that modifier must be working, and that is awesome. Otherwise, you would had, because I did this before. I made this video earlier, and they updated the game today, and it was supposed to be a very big update. So I deleted my character and remade, well, we are remaking the video, but it was tedious to watch me have to pick up sticks and rocks and this and that and the other thing. Let's see, what else can we make? Maybe we can make ourselves a hat. Because who doesn't want a hat? Hat, woodland cloth. We need cloth. What do we need to make cloth? We need yellow pine. Okay, so we keep our eyes out for yellow pine, and we take a look at this. Press K to open the knowledge table. Here you can learn new spells, skills, and recipes. That is this. And then we're going to grab these rune crystals and wood. And eventually I got to flying, which was pretty awesome, I have to say. And on the Steam page there is a video of the game where it certainly looks like the players are playing something much like Quidditch. Anyway, let's see. The world is littered with dangerous caves, ancient ruins, and more. Explore these at your own risk. That is true. I found a cave and some pretty cool loot. And this is exactly the same thing. This is press B to enter build mode. This is an important one to remember. Be sure to unlock some building blueprints from the knowledge table. So B is build mode. We don't have any blueprints available yet. These are crowberries. Crowberries and ghost orchids and mushrooms will get you a vitality potion once you unlock it. Along with, I think, a rune crystal. Press O to open the crafting menu. This is where recipes are stored and items such as weapons, clothing, and potions can be crafted. And press P to open the spellbook. Spells are learned at the knowledge menu and must be individually equipped onto weapons. Most spells can only be cast by certain weapon types. Now, one thing I have noticed in the game, and like I say, this is early access. This came out like a few days ago, maybe sometime last week. Oh, there's a yellow pine. Working our way up to making cloth, to making our hat. So it just came out. This patch was just deployed, and there are, of course, bugs. You see the game stutter every now and then, and this is a pretty high-end rig, so for it to be stuttering, when I say high-end, I mean i7 6900K with a Titan X Pascal. It's pretty high-end. What was I about to say? Basically that picking up all the things. You'll notice the stuttering, but also there are some other problems, like when I exit the game and come back, my spells don't work. I actually have to reassign them to my weapons, and then they work. So if you come back in the game, don't go charging off looking for danger until you've checked your weapons. Make sure they fire, and if they don't, just go over to the spell book and drag the spell back into your weapon, and you will once again be ready to go. There is a shield over this area. We started out at the place called Rain Court. Oh, I skipped character creation. It's pretty limited, but mainly because when you first enter the game, there's this animation of you coming out of a lava pit sort of looking thing, and it is really, really loud, and you may have noticed that I am not. So if you turned your volume up to listen to me, you would probably be picking your eardrums up off the wall. And I didn't want to put you guys through that. So we skipped character creation, and we skipped that little intro animation. That is a fairy. Sprite, I'm sorry. And it will attack me, but it's a level 5 sprite. We're going to back way off. Well, you know what? Let's go crazy, huh? See what I can do. We'll see the death mechanic, if nothing else. I can't tell what we're doing, if anything. Now, inside the shield, they should kind of not want to attack. I'm not entirely sure where the fairy went. But aside from picking things up, we could get experience that way. Just not super... not without risk, let's say. The first time I played, I walked up to a sprite there, and I just wanted to see what it was, and it vaporized me. So I went back to get my loot, because you drop your loot where you die, and it vaporized me. And so I went back again, figured I'd be extra careful, and it vaporized me. And then I hit like level 4 or level 5, and I went back, vaporized it, and every other fairy slash sprite I could find. Just to, return the favor. Thanks for welcoming me to the neighborhood. I understand how it works now, and may you enjoy your journey to the sprightly afterlife. Picking up a ghost orchid. And see, this is why I boosted the experience modifier, because we're not tough enough to go fight anything and gain experience that way. We're not building anything really yet, because we don't really have all the things to build with. So experience is mainly this. I guess we could take a look at our knowledge base, structures. We could unlock this. I don't know that we can build anything yet. I don't think we've picked up quite enough wood. We probably have enough of this, though, to build our cloth. Let's get back inside the shield and take a look at crafting. We will make our cloth here. So you just select the cloth and drag the slider over. I only need 2 for the hat, but if we're lucky, we'll be able to make something else in a level or 2 and use that cloth. And we're getting 50 experience per cloth. And here's our experience bar right here over our hotkeys. You can see it's going up. And now we can make ourselves a woodland hat. And gain ourselves a level in the process. So I will... Eventually we're going to want to bump our mana. But for right now I'm going to boost the carrying capacity one more time. Come over here, find our hat, and put it on our head. And be cool like that. Okay, we are 1 level away from being able to get the awesome extract spell. In structures, we could pick up wall pack. What about utility? And also I love these vitality vials. Boosts movement speed, regenerates 60 health and mana over 10 seconds. Oh, see here we can grab ourselves a cloth tunic and shirts. We need 2 more cloth. Okay, so we need more of that yellow pine stuff. This lag seems to be like when I'm turning around or after a while of not moving is new. That came with the update today. It was actually pretty smooth. The only time I ever saw lag before this was... Uh-oh. What? Oh, those are new. Those got added in the patch. Lucky me. Gonna run behind the shield here. In my experience, on this side of the shield, when things attack you, they seem like that fairy to get embarrassed and run away. Well, I attack the fairy to be fair. But, so the shield doesn't prevent them from getting on this side of the shield, doesn't prevent them from attacking you, but it does seem to make them terribly embarrassed once they do. And then they will flee. And we are going to gather more goodies. Those things will go into our vitality vials. And those crystals, once we get that extract spell, gathering resources will be oh so much easier and cooler and a little bit more zenner. We are looking for more of the yellow pine so we can make ourselves a robe. And grab some wood along the way. Wooden walls seem to be worth a lot in experience for construction and require actually less wood than, say, a foundation, which is considerably less experience, which is, of course, strange to me. But anyway, once you get to the point of, like, making things, you can kind of... I just like building, building, building. But I guess you could, like, just build a wall and destroy it to make experience fairly rapidly. You know, build, destroy, if you didn't want to create some kind of world-spanning structure. There is a... I think it's an elk? Wild elk. It's nighttime now, but daytime should be back soon, and we'll get to see some more of the world. And it's pretty actual awesome beauty. I mean, it's Unreal Engine, so that's to be expected. One of those tutorial tips mentioned that you can go to caves, and so there are enemies in the caves, and then there are treasure chests in the caves. And I came up with some really spiffy loot before I deleted the character saves, so that I could remake this and show you guys how this goes from the start. But it was like not just the stuff I could craft. It was some kind of like robe and hat and shoes and things that I couldn't have made. It's not on the list of things. That lag, I hope they get that fixed. You can see there's actually a little frame counter in the upper right. It's not horrible sometimes, but I imagine when that lag happens, it's not great. Okay, so we're going to try building to get ourselves some experience quick. Oh, what? We know stuff. We know all kinds of stuff. Where did the stuff go? Didn't we learn this? We did learn this. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Wood. Wood, and then... Okay, so you press B to open the build menu, and you can use your scroll wheel to move between these options. And we're going to click on wood, and then a wooden foundation. And I don't know why, but I kind of dig the color and the shape and everything of their... like the ghost image of the item. It makes me a lot happier than some of the other ones in other games. Anyway, I'm going to click to set that down, and then you right click to back out one level. We're going to click in, and I'm going to put a wall. Actually, I don't know. Let's maybe see how far back we can build, so we can get one layer back. And then we're going to go over to walls, and we'll try and put a wall up here. You can't actually rotate items. You can see that it actually rotates a bit as we go, but I can't like do anything to make it turn. It only puts things on the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west. Back out and back to this. Don't have quite enough to build another floor section. Let's go out and check our cloth. We can make 2 cloth, which might give us just enough to make ourselves a robe. 1 and 2. So the music's kind of mellow. Everything is kind of mellow. It's a very zen game for me. Anyway, so currently we've equipped our shabby tunic. It's not clear who or what forced these filthy robes on you. Though they do much to hide your shame, they do nothing to provide protection. It would be wise to find or craft a more respectable garment. So we shall do this and make a woodland cloth tunic. And maybe get ourselves some experience. Quite a bit, it looked like, although I couldn't be sure. It seemed like it was on top of each other. Back to inventory. Here we have our woodland cloth tunic offering 14 armor. This basic tunic was one of the few humble possessions brought by Ingmar the Reclusive on his 40-year pilgrimage of solitude to the Whispering Woods. Its flimsy nature makes it a poor choice for combat situations, which actually isn't quite true. It's considerably better than this thing. We're gonna just drop this, since we don't really have any need for it. And when you drop items, they come out in little bags like this that I think eventually just kind of dissolve. When you die in the world, you leave much the same thing, so you kind of really need to remember where you died and look for an obscure little bag. But unlike some other games of this genre, you don't seem to be forced into dying over and over and over again so that you learn your place. I've played a couple of other titles like this, and it has always seemed to me that their philosophy is that they're going to beat you down until you submit to their will. You spawn into the world, you get killed by the random thing you didn't know existed, could never have seen, and never stood a chance against because it was 20 levels higher than you anyway. This game is much more mellow about that, at least so far. It allows you to build within that shield and starts you out in a safe place where you can, get your feet under you before you are beaten about. Some of those other games behave, I imagine, like, an abusive older brother. Why are you hitting yourself? Why don't you stop hitting yourself? If you would just stop being, these dinosaurs would stop eating you. And I gotta question that design philosophy. I guess it makes sure that the people who are playing your game really, really want to be there, but not entirely sure that's the best way to ensure that. I don't know, maybe explaining how to play the game and giving them a chance to, figure it out might work better. Maybe that's why I like this one. I don't know. That level 5, if we could just get to level 5. This is why I boosted that modifier. Otherwise, we were literally here forever watching me pick things up off the floor. Guess what I should be really focusing on is wood, and then we could build some more wooden structure things. Kind of have to keep... Yeah, there's a whole new set of like lag and ghost imaging going on that wasn't here the day before. Maybe I didn't do the game any favor by waiting for the update, but I figured it would be more representative of the game waiting for the update than doing it before, since it was supposed to be such a big update. As I said before, I'm playing on basically my own private server, just local hosted on my computer, password protected. You can actually even set how many players can be on it. It's currently set to 1 because, well, I think it's a great way to learn a game. I just want to have fun crafting, and I don't need to be ganked for any reason. I'm well past that portion of my gaming life. Oops. Get out of build mode there. Watch out for that boar that's still over here. But there are multiplayer servers, and oh, my health is 100 out of 149 because we got 49 extra health from the robe. There are multiplayer servers. There are PvE and PvP. One of the things I guess this update brought was there was a problem with a spell called telekinesis. A powerful enough mage could literally pick your entire structure up out of the ground and throw it against a wall and destroy it. And this was breaking some folks' heart. So they changed that spell to not work on PvE servers and to not have not be able to affect structures with the throne. Throne is in the build menu here under magic, under small. We have the throne. If I were to place that on my wooden structure back there, it would claim it as mine and prevent deterioration, which is actually going on right this very moment. Actually, we have just enough wood to build another wooden base. Let's do that. It might actually kick us over. We are really close to level. And if it does that, we'll get our extract spell and maybe even some vitality vials and be off to the races. Okay, so we want B to build, wood, and wooden platform. I really dig these ghost images. It must be something out of my childhood, honestly, for me to love it that much. I think it reminds me of like Light Brights or something. Anyway, I digress. So we leveled to level 5. We'll go out of build mode into the knowledge mode and come to utility. No, spells. We want spells. We want utility spell. You want extract. Extract is able to gather resources directly from trees, rocks, and more, enabling conjurers to gather resources much quicker. The more powerful your weapon is, the faster you can extract resources. We will learn that. Come over to our spell book, put it on our staff, and then we also have the ability to, I guess I'm going to increase carrying capacity to 100. And then after that, I'm going to start working on mana, because as you fly, you are using mana. So let's check out extraction. When you are in most of this kind of game, you have an axe and you chop at the tree. This is the extraction spell. What's different about using an axe on a tree and the extraction spell is I can do this. And I can do this from a fairly considerable distance. So, yeah, being a mage, kind of cool. No idea what the experience counter's doing there, but like I said, at range, we can do this. We just kind of hoover up the tree. I have to admit, on a personal note, kind of dig the sort of vacuum cleaner-ish sound it makes instead of the chop, chop, chop of the axes, which can grate on my nerves over time. This is just sort of like white noise. If anything, I find it a bit relaxing. We can do the same thing with stones. Stones are a bit heavier, and we don't have anything we can really do with them for a while. You can get iron ore out of them, however. Hey, daytime's coming. Now, if it's like it was before the patch, at 6 a.m., you can see in the upper right there's the clock. It's going to lag up for a second. 6 a.m., 6 p.m., it lags up. Not sure why. Maybe just the alteration of the day cycle, but it happens. You can also soak up dead wood with your handy-dandy extraction spell. And isn't this so much better than collecting things up off the ground? I think so. And, of course, you can also soak up the blue rune crystal formations if you're not aiming at the tree next to it. Then you get wood. But if you actually hit the crystal, you get crystals, which is crystal-tastic and crystal-rific. See, 6 o'clock. There's that lag. The world lags at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. The interesting thing is, if you're just out doing things before this additional lag was introduced, you would kind of know what time of day it was when you were in the middle of doing something and you stopped momentarily. It's like, oh, it's 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. So now that we've done all that, there is one more thing we can extract from. I will go and show you that. You can build through the shield. My previous incarnation had built a rather towering set of structures that extended out onto these rocks, and it's pretty awesome. Okay, so, and it seems like you fall a little more slowly. You do take fall damage, but not as much and not as quickly. So you can extract mushrooms. So you get mushrooms from the giant mushrooms. You can get the yellow pine and ghost orchids and crowberries from extracting trees. So you get wood and the berries and the pine from the trees. You can get mushrooms from the giant mushrooms. You get rocks from rocks and also iron ore. And you get rune crystals from the blue crystal formations. There is all of that. I wonder what that is out there, that blue glowy thing. But let's try and get up and over and see. We're not going to get to flying or anything today. This is just kind of a first look at this. If you folks are interested in seeing more, I would not object to doing more. I'm not promising a let's play or anything, but we might visit this from time to time, or if everyone is super interested, it might be more, I suppose. That depends on how well it does. There, so another wall, and let's go back, and then floor structure, and walls, like I say, are the best experience, or at least they were. And come on. It's a little more touchy about movement today than it was. That's okay though. It's not horrible or anything. It's just a little touchier. Okay, so I think we actually have some knowledge left, and what I'd like to do is get vitality vials, and then come over to crafting and consumable and vitality vials. We will make 5 of these, and we'll get XP for these as well. And so, like I said, it is, what? Boost movement speed, regenerates health, 60 health and mana over 10 seconds. That can really kind of help you out in a situation. So then you come to your inventory and right click on it. It goes into its slot and can be used. It's actually out of the inventory. And before the update, it didn't count towards weight here as a number, but it did actually count towards your weight, even though the number didn't update. Hey, there is another sprite. Let's take a shot. Oh. We'll have to chase this one down. We're pretty close to level 2, actually. Well, level 6, but level also. Come on. The staff is supposed to be an AoE weapon. Yeah, it looks all innocent. But trust me, they're not. And they do look ever so happy to be dead. So, you know, I really figure I'm doing them a favor. Loot corpse, we get fairy dust and light essence, which we can use to make things. Oh, yeah, I was going to show you guys the throne. Let's get back up there to the structure quick. Well, let's go ahead and grab some wood before we wander away. And I love the fact that we can look around while we're doing this, because things will sneak up on you. There are all kinds of creatures so far that I've run into. Orcs and bears, giants, well, that boar, the elk, bunnies, fairies, well, sprites. I think what also we should do is probably come in here and drop the stone, because they weigh quite a bit and we can't do anything with them. Okay. And so the other thing you can't seem to do, which you can in some other games, is move things around once you've placed them. So, see, if we look at the structure, it says abandoned, place throne to claim, and it has its hit point value, which hasn't started to decay yet, but will. So if we come over here to magic and small and place our cool blue glowy throne, now it says the structure belongs to checkers and it won't decay. And everything that is built that's still touching this original thing seems to still belong to it. So like I said, I built, you know, close to the top where the shield is, and out to here, and then out through the shield over those rocks and a little bit towards that other tree. Oh, here's a bunny, a hare. I haven't zapped a bunny yet. I don't know what they carry. I try to only zap the hostile things. I haven't zapped an elk yet either. Fairies proved to me that they were hostile right out front. Let's get out of build mode and soak up another tree. And we'll see if we can't add to our structure just a bit. All in all, though, I find it a relaxing entry, I would say, into this survival crafting genre. I don't have extensive experience in this. It just, you know, has never really been a thing I've played around with much until recently. I've got some... I probably have the most time in Conan Exiles, which I also enjoy, but is a bit, well, Conan-y. It constantly wants to fight you. It's not as bad as some other games I've played, the worst of which for the, like, starting out from the get-go experience was Ark. But Conan is in that vein of trying to kill you from the moment you hit the beaches, and this game just seems to kind of like give you your time to get your feet out under you. If we look at the map, you can see that there are places in the world we can go. So this is a cave that would have monsters and loot. The skulls here are natural acid pools. Haven't figured out why you'd want those yet. Here are enemy camps. This is a thing called Raven's Perch, which somehow unlocks fast travel to something. Not entirely sure what. But these are the other two spawn points, and then the map goes on up there as well. And so this is Citadel Forged with Fire. I have kind of been having a very good time with it. But, you know, like I said, it's very relaxing. If you want to go out and get into fights with things, there are things definitely to go out into the world and get in fights with. Oh, you can also... So this is a rock and this is a tree stump. Sometimes targeting the tree stump can be a little tricky, but once you do... Even now, I'm not entirely sure I'm on the tree stump or maybe a log that's under it. Yep, that's what it was. But you could get the tree stumps out, so you can kind of clear your little path and get yourself some wood. However, if you exit and restart the server, at least before this previous update, I haven't tried it since, all of the resources here, like all the trees and rocks and stumps, will come right on back. You can't, like, extract through the shield. You need to be on the same side as the shield. But once you're on the same side, you can take whatever you want. And yeah, let's take a quick look again at the kinds of things you can make. So you have the potions. This is a respec potion, which unlocks at level 40, so you should probably be happy with your spec for a while. Taming allows so you can tame creatures with this spell, Pacify. Casting Pacify on an animal or creature will slowly drain its energy until it is unable to move, allowing an adventurer to approach and tame the creature. Tamed creatures will only remain loyal for 30 minutes. Loyalty time can be increased by putting soul-binding scrolls into a creature's inventory. Can only tame creatures that are within 10 levels of yourself. So you can tame the creature with this, and then you come over to utility and you can get these soul binding scrolls. This one increases it by 4 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours, 72 hours, 7 days, and 14 days. So you can essentially extend your tame time indefinitely. You can make yourself a saddle so that you can mount your tamed creature. You can make brooms. That's a 1 to 2 flight cost per second in mana. Daredevil's broomstick, legendary broomstick, essence of wings. There's a levitation potion and flight of the architect and dark flight. Spells. Some of these spells in the high end are kind of crazy. Conflagration, 500 to 750% damage. Calls down a meteor from the heavens and direct it at a target of your choosing, dealing massive area of effect damage on impact. Very effective against structures and large groups of enemies. Tornadoes. Kiss of Death will slowly drain life from a living being until the target's life has been extinguished. So it's a channeled spell too. And Divine Orb, powerful spell, focuses on a large quantity of magical energy on one concentrated point. Once overloaded, the energy is pushed outward in a massive shockwave, dealing huge damage in a large radius. And yeah, so this is kind of a shotgun mana blast to protect yourself. Lightning bolts, haste spells. Seems like there is some cool stuff in here. This is kind of like the leather armor tree. This is kind of like a more wild or primal armor tree. And then, of course, there is kind of the plate armor tree. You can also make magical rings and bracelets, necklaces, amulets. In structures, there are stone structures, and then the ornate structures, torches and flags and trophies of all sorts. Defensive. These seem to be like magical turrets. Healing pools and mana pools. This is a respawn stone storage chest, the ever wonderful storage chest, and alchemy stuff. All kinds of fun things. And yeah, So like I said, this is on early access game. It's on Steam. And I've been enjoying it. It's kind of a more mellow crafting, building experience, and I can't wait to see where it goes. If you folks want to see more, let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. I would like to point out that if you look in the upper right-hand corner, you will see a small letter I with a white circle around it. These are cards and links to other videos that I've made. Also, I have a Twitter link in the description of the video and on my channel's main page. If you're on mobile, it'll be on my channel's About page. I would like to thank you for being the best community out there. Truly, you guys are awesome, and you make this an absolute joy to do, and I really, truly want to thank you for that. Really, guys, thank you. I would also like to thank you for watching. I hope you found the video entertaining and maybe just a little informative. I would like to invite you to subscribe, like, and share if you so desire, and to ask you, above all, to please observe the lag and take care.